Good morning and welcome, friends, to Temple Buddhist Center's weekly Sunday meditation service. My name is Victor, and I am honored to be of service this morning. We hope that your experience this morning will be one of spiritual renewal and a deep sense of connection as we come together in sacred Sangha. And we hope that you are happy and healthy, but also please know that if you are struggling in any way, we hope that Temple Buddhist Center can be a source of refuge for you as we open our hearts to you and to your loved ones. So just a quick reminder that there are tissues, cough drops, listening devices, all located at the altar at the back of the meditation hall. There are also cushions and pillows up front if you would like to sit differently than in a chair. So let's begin. Oh, and also we want to welcome everyone joining us from our greater Sangha. We have our Sangha, our local Sangha, and then we have our friends and family members that are joining us from all over the country and in some cases around the world. So we want to welcome them into our hearts as if they were sitting right next to us. Let's begin our service this morning with 3 conscious breaths. A conscious breath is where you seal the mouth, breathe deeply through the nose, hold that breath for a few moments, and then release slowly so that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Let's begin. Holding for a moment, feeling the fullness of the lungs. Relaxing the shoulders and then release. Good. And as you release, just take a moment to check in with the body. Any micro adjustments or a little stretch or a wiggle, whatever you need to do to help prepare the body to be more gentle, more spacious, easy, and light. And a second conscious breath together. Holding. And releasing. And as you release, giving yourself permission to unplug. Unplug from that energy of going and doing, perhaps getting ready in the morning, taking care of family members, driving. And as you release that connection to the energy of doing, we take time to cultivate together the energy of being. That energy that requires nothing of us is a boundless, endless source of vitality, animating this precious human body. And a third conscious breath together. And releasing. And as you release, bringing your awareness to the present moment. The present moment has no beginning and no end, and we are always arriving. So here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin our services with a little bit of chanting. Chanting is an integral part of every tradition. Chanting is not about being a singer. Chanting is about having a voice. It is about a deep devotional expression from within to without, sharing with the world what is most sacred for you in your heart. And our chant today is Om Ami Dewa Ze, Om Ami Dewa Ze. And this, in the Buddhist tradition, this is a chant that enhances compassion for all beings, including ourselves. And you might recognize the opening sound, Om. In the Sanskrit tradition, Om is the sound of the universe, reminding each one of us that we are a beautiful note in a grand cosmic symphony forever playing. And so with that, I will invite Rochelle to tone us in. Together. Om Mami Deva Ze. 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 Once more. Om Mami Deva Ze. Compassion for all beings, including ourselves. As Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home. So here at Temple Buddhist Center, we practice Western Buddhism, a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. And this new and exciting form of spirituality is dynamic, it's inclusive, it's active, and focuses on core Buddhist insights, as well as mindfulness, meditation, and their practical applications in our daily life. Our goal here is not to get everyone to agree on a specific lineage or philosophy or sect of Buddhism, but rather it is on a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. Whether we are chanting together, spending time in noble silence, or sharing from the heart, we respect that you will participate at a level that is comfortable for you. We take refuge in the three jewels and acknowledge these core values as expressions of the awakened mind, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We value awareness of our Buddha nature, as well as the Buddha nature of all beings, bringing a fresh, new perspective to each and every encounter. The second jewel is the Dharma, the truth teachings that release us from fear and delusion and help us to realize the true nature of who we are. And finally, our Sangha, our spiritual community, whether they're sitting right next to you or joining us from abroad, an essential part of growth where we practice the teachings together and support each other along every step of the path. So let's take a moment now to silence any electronic devices. And if you're at home, anything you need to do to prepare a more meditative environment. We will begin with the prayer of refuge. We will recite this together 3 times for the 3 jewels. Together, in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we demonstrate and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. And so as we enter a time of meditation, if you have an extensive practice, then we invite you to practice in a way that is fitting for you this morning. If you are new to meditation, then we are going to begin with an opening dedication. We will sound the bell 3 times for the 3 jewels. And then our teacher today, Mr. Robert Brumet, will guide us in a brief guided meditation that's designed to assist you in moving into the stillness. We will spend approximately 10 to 12 minutes today connecting with each other in consciousness, in noble silence. Afterwards, Robert will lovingly bring us out of meditation. We will sound the return bell, and then it will be time for today's Dharma talk, or teaching. And so with that, let's take a conscious breath together. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow, and realize the true nature of who they are.
As we listen to the wonderful sound of the bell, we hear it receding into the silence. And so we let our thoughts recede into the silence, just gently letting them go as they arise. With each breath, we become more aware of breathing. With each breath, we relax the body. With each breath, we open to what is. Opening to this experience right here, right now. meeting it with an open mind, an open heart. Not grasping at anything, not striving for anything, not holding on to anything, not resisting anything. Just a simple, clear, beginner's mind. And a childlike heart. Cultivating a gentle curiosity with each experience, be it hearing or sensing in the body or hearing a sound. Just having that experience as if for the very first time. Letting each moment be fresh, new, and fully alive. Breathing in, breathing out, sensing the body, watching the thoughts, opening the heart to what's here right now. Right now. as we continue the practice of being aware of the body, the mind, hearing. In a few moments, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and practice seeing with the same attitude, seeing everything fresh, anew, as if for the first time. Without any expectations, without any history, without any resistance. Everything I see, everything I hear, everything I feel is fresh, alive, and brand new. So here's the sound of the bell, and I invite you to slowly open your eyes as you listen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
In case you missed it, I'm here to remind you that Friday was April Fool's Day. I believe it's my favorite holiday. And what I love about April Fool's Day is that nobody knows how it began, which is sort of an April Fool's joke in itself, isn't it? It's celebrated in virtually every country in Europe and in virtually every English-speaking country, as well as a few others. And every country has its own story as to who and how and when April Fool began. And I love that kind of phenomena because it shows that there's something universal at least in the Western culture, that needs this period of letting go of our serious, intense striving to become what we think we should be or want to be or ought to be, and just let ourselves be what we are. To celebrate as if we were a young child once again. So the Fool can be depicted a number of different ways. On the screen you see a picture of the Fool as depicted by the tarot deck. This is the Rider-Waite tarot deck. The Fool is the very first of the major arcana. It's the starting point of the journey. The Fool is an archetype, one of many archetypes. And I'd like to begin by just talking about what an archetype is. There's a number of ways of trying to understand an archetype. One way, in a literary sense, an archetype is a type of character type that we see in virtually every story, fairy tale, myth, and in virtually every novel, movie. Even cartoons have the archetypes. For example, the three major archetypes that shape our vision are the hero, the villain, and the victim. You know, think of virtually any story and you'll see that triangle, right? When somebody goes to write a novel, that's one of the first things he or she would do is, you know, who's the victim, who's the villain, how is that portrayed? And I love particularly fantasy, science fiction. If you think of Star Wars, for example, there's so many archetypal characters in Star Wars. You know, Darth Vader is the consummate villain. You know, Luke Skywalker is the hero, the hero in training, the knight in training. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the wise old man, the Merlin, the magician, you see. Princess Leia is the damsel in distress. Come rescue me, Luke Skywalker. You see. So those are archetypes. And there are many other archetypes. But in a deeper sense, Carl Jung, the psychologist, saw that archetypes exist within every human being. We have different archetypes that different cultures will emphasize. For example, in our culture, the archetype of the magician is really prominent in that of the scientist. The scientist is a magician. The physician is a magician, right? They have these magic pills, or the scientist can do things that are seemingly like magic. You know, if somebody from 100 years ago were to live today, it would be magic to them, how things happen. The warrior is another archetype. The lover is another archetype. There's many forms of the lover. The fool is the one that we're going to focus on today. Because the fool is closely tied to our spiritual practice, closely tied to our spirituality. So let's take a look at the symbol of the fool as we see on that particular card. A picture's worth 1,000 words for sure. But as you look at that picture, just notice what you sense. First of all, I think the first thing most of us would sense is the fact that there's an ambivalence there, in the sense that the fool could be really stupid, about to step off to his death, take his little puppy dog with him, or the fool may know something we don't know. Maybe he's wise enough not to be concerned with what we call fear, you see. The fool is fearless in many ways. You know, the fool does things that seem crazy to us and yet can be very courageous in many ways. Now, with every archetype, it's important to remember that there's both a developed positive side of that archetype and there's a undeveloped negative or shadow side of the archetype. So the shadow side of the fool is the culture's take on the fool. You just get in trouble. You hurt yourself, you hurt other people. You lack any sense of wisdom, very naive. That's the shadow side. The developed side of the fool is one of purity, innocence, a certain sense of deep, deep trust in the universe and in life. You see, the fool is stepping off the mountain, totally trusting life. Have you stepped off the mountain? I have several times in my life, and I imagine you have too, in one way or another. Taken a step when your family or your friends said, "You're crazy. You're going to do that? You're going to sit for 10 days at a retreat? Not talk?" Nothing can be more foolish than that, right? What can be more foolish than just sit and ring bells and sit here and do nothing? So the fool is enigmatic. Maybe very wise or maybe very ignorant. We see that the fool is on or near a mountaintop. It's way high. So the fool really is near the source. The energy of the fool is that pure innocence. It's almost like the archetype of the Garden of Eden. It's close to the divine because it hasn't yet had the fall. It hasn't yet been driven out of the garden. It's like the child, the innocent child. And we see that the fool is a youth, young man. We see that the fool appears to be a vagabond, a wanderer. Everything he owns is in that little purse at the end of his stick. He has no attachments. He has no worries. He has no fear. He has no idea what's going to happen next. Life, death, anywhere in between. Let's step off the mountain and see what happens. That's the fool. We see a little dog with the fool there. And anytime we see a dog, symbolically that means almost always faith or loyalty. You know, in many of the pictures, if you go to the European section of the Nelson Art Gallery, we see pictures of weddings. Almost always there's a little dog off in one corner, symbolizing fidelity. You know, why do we call a dog Fido? Literally, it's the Latin for fidelity or faith, you see. Dogs are symbolic of trust. And once again, that's the hallmark of the fool. The fool trusts the universe, totally. And we see the sun behind the fool. The sun typically is a sign of good fortune, alertness. And the fool is not only at the top of a mountain, but he's looking up still. So the fool is always looking up, very idealistic. There's a purity of pure ideal, untainted by, well, watch out, be careful. Look out, there might be somebody lurking there to hurt you. In some of the movies, which is a wonderful way, I love to watch movies through the lens of the archetypes. Can you think of a movie that's where the primary character, protagonist, is the fool? Forrest Gump comes to my mind. we love Forrest Gump? Why? He's just who he always is. He doesn't know how to be anything else but himself. And yet look what Forrest Gump does. He winds up being an All-American football hero. He winds up starting the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. He does all sorts of interesting things. He visits the White House. Remember that scene where the President Kennedy is shaking hands with all of the, I think it's the University of Alabama football team. He's saying, how does it feel to be an all-star? And what did Gump say when he said that to him? He said, I gotta pee. That's right. You see? That's the fool. What you see is what you get. There's no deference to authority. There's no bowing to power. There's just me. What you see is what you get. And if you've seen the movie, this is a little bit older, Being There, with Peter Sellers, Chauncey the Gardener. Yeah, I think Forrest Gump is sort of a takeoff on Chauncey the Gardener. Chauncey was, again, a similar character, very simple and yet very profound. So profound that he became an advisor to the President of the United States. And all he was doing was gardening. But they would read all sorts of stuff into his gardening. The economic advisors would come and they'd say, Chauncey, what's the economy's going to do? And Chauncey would say, well, in the spring you plant and in the fall you reap. And they'd say, oh, okay, so that means we should buy now, sell in the fall, right? Okay. So the whole economic system is being based on Chauncey with his tending to his flowers, you see. Or Forrest Gump running. Are you running for world peace? Are you running for world hunger? Are you running to save the environment? His answer, just felt like it. And he had all these people following him, you see. So that's the beauty of the fool, is the fool doesn't try, doesn't care, but it's a very powerful archetype. Another fool, kind of a different kind of fool from literature, is Don Quixote. Don Quixote de la Mancha. You know, the man from La Mancha. Fighting windmills, seeing nothing but purity. Dulcinea, the prostitute, to him is a queen. All he sees is beauty and love, and he honors everything, you see. But we call him the fool. And he is, but in the highest sense of the word. There's another type of fool that is called the holy fool. And again, I'm thinking many of us have played that role. The holy fool is, let's say the Buddha played the holy fool. What could be more foolish than to be a prince that gives up everything, walks away, goes out into the forest with nothing, seeking some crazy enlightenment, letting go of every single attachment. I was the fool more than once. 1978, I sat in my boss's office. He says, "You're going to be a minister?" I said, "Robert, you got a brilliant career ahead of you here." He said, "I was just about to offer you a promotion." "And you're going to do what?" He says, I don't understand. He was baffled. He says, how can you do this? Throw away this potential that you have, you say. And again, we see the holy fool. St. Francis of Assisi, his father was a rich clothing merchant. And there's a scene where in the middle of the town square, his father is yelling at him for going off meditating, going off into monastery. He says, look at everything I've given you. How can you do this to me? St. Francis said, well, tell you what, Father, so that I owe you nothing, he took off all his clothes, gave them back to his father, and he walked out of town naked. Symbolic of letting go of everything, you see. So we are Dharma fools in the sense that that's the Dharma practice. Letting go of everything. I mean, it's easy to take off your clothes. You can meditate naked, but that's not letting go of everything. Not in the sense that we mean it. It's more of an internal letting go of everything, you see. And don't just do something, sit there. That's the instruction, right? In fact, one Dharma teacher wrote a book with that title. Don't just do something, sit there. What could be more foolish than that? Then when we're not sitting there doing nothing, we're walking around like zombies, doing walking meditation. If you've ever been at a retreat, it's quite an interesting sight. I remember one time when I was out at Insight Meditation Society in Barre, Massachusetts. We were doing walking meditation out on the lawn. There's the building is set back, and so there's this big, long green lawn, beautiful setting, New England. And the UPS driver pulled up, took some packages into the office, and he looked out through the window, and then he said to the clerk in the office, he says, it's really sad, you know. It's really sad, all these people. And she says, what do you mean? What are you talking about? She says, well, this is a psychiatric institution, isn't it? And he thought that, you know, we were something missing. We looked like fools out there walking around. You see. And I could tell many other stories about appearing as a Dharma fool doing meditation practice. But I don't have time to, maybe some other time. On a beach in St. Croix. That was an interesting time. We'll save that for another Sunday. You feel pain? I tell one friend of mine, I got back from a retreat, and she said, how was it? I said, it was difficult, rather painful. She says, I don't imagine you're going to go back, are you? I said, oh yeah, I booked another retreat for next month. And she looked at me and said, why? You sit there doing nothing, your back hurts, and you keep going back. What could be more foolish than that, you say? Because the fool knows something, but he doesn't quite have the ability to explain it. He doesn't know that he knows it. There's not that articulation. So beginner's mind is a practice of the fool. The fool has no expectations, no attachments, no resistance. The fool lives fully in the present moment, simply and straightforwardly. The fool is ruthlessly honest, simply because he or she knows no other way to be other than ruthlessly honest. What you see is what you get. Unwavering commitment, like a child to a parent. And so let me close with this quote from the Tao Te Ching. This is chapter 20, I believe it is, if you wanted to look it up. I quote, "Others have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I am like a fool. My mind is so empty. Others have purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I am now and always nurtured by the universe. Thus says the fool." Thank you for practicing your foolish dharma with us.
Thank you so much, Robert. So if you want to take a moment to perhaps stretch or shift your posture as we move into heart practice. And so we will move into a loving kindness or metta practice. And as we do so, this is an expression from within to without, and it is not uncommon for people to somehow incorporate a gesture. For example, some folks may want to place their hand on their heart, or they might want to perhaps create the Anjali mudra, which is a heart-focusing mudra, or just hands together in the lap. Whatever works best for you, you can check in with your body and sense what is appropriate. And so we begin our metta practice with a conscious breath together. Holding that breath for a moment, relaxing the shoulders, and releasing. And as you release, I invite you to bring to mind the image of you, a full body image of the form that has been given your name and that has accrued the many experiences over the years. And holding this image in your mind's eye, recite silently to yourself these words of metta practice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in body and mind. And may I be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. As you release, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a friend of yours. And holding this image of your friend in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a difficult person in your life, perhaps a challenging person like a boss, a coworker, classmate, a neighbor, or a political figure. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as we release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of the world. All the plants and the flowers and the trees, animals of the land, the sea and the sky, and all sentient beings, including ourselves. Holding this image in our mind's eye, let us open our hearts to all of us as we send metta. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be safe from inner and outer dangers. May we be well in body and mind. And may we be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And in the true spirit of Dana, the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services here are given freely. In the same way, if you choose to give, please give with a generous heart, which means not in return for anything that you have received today, but rather so that those who may be seeking refuge will find it here, in this temple, with these teachers and with these teachings. And the Dana boxes are located at the back of the meditation hall. And we take a moment of gratitude for all of our wonderful ambassadors, those folks who have committed themselves to regular monthly electronic giving. It's not about the amount, it's just that the regular monthly giving helps us to set a budget. And if you would like to become an ambassador, simply stop by our Temple Buddhist Center website, templebuddhistcenter.com, and just click on the Love Offering button. You can also text Unity Temple to 77977. And so, with that, let us go ahead and we will share our bodhicitta dedication together out loud. And then I have a couple of announcements for you after we sound the closing bell. And so, together, may the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And with the palms of our hands together in front of our hearts, as we go forth now from this place, may we enter each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. And as we open our hands, open our eyes, shine our light into the world. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. And as you exit the meditation hall today, our fearless leader of the Temple Green team, Mr. Jim McGraw, pardon me, is staffing a table in the lobby. And at this table is information about our Earth Day celebration. We're giving away over 50 trees for home forestation projects. There's going to be almost 24 members of the community who are sponsoring tables downstairs in the hall. And also there's going to be panels. We're going to have an interfaith panel. There's going to be a political panel talking about the different ways that we can influence the politics of sustainability. There's going to be, and a special announcement, our very own Mr. Jake Marshall, a member of Temple Buddhist Center, has just put up his art show in the hallway. So as you exit today, please stop by. He is just shy of absolutely amazing. I put one of his calendars on the table for Earth Day celebration too. You can see it there. So he's a member of our Sangha, and he has a beautiful display of artwork. Much of it is nature-based, and so that's why we have that as a part of our Earth Day celebration. And then finally, don't forget Mindfulness for Creatives. That class starts April 12th. There is a flyer for that on the reception desk. And also, don't forget, we have our retreat coming, our VSOC retreat, May 18th through the 21st. Robert and I finalized a few more details. I should have it published, and registration should be available this week. So we're very excited about that. And also, our Meditation 101 class is next Sunday, right after, well, it's not right after service, but it's at 1 o'clock right here. And so also, our Helping Hands Sunday will be next Sunday as well. So the little blue bags that you can keep one in your car, so as you encounter a person experiencing homelessness, you can have that to give to them. So again, thank you all so much. And as you go into your day, and by the way, congratulations to all of you KU fans. I know that KU made it to the big dance, so I wanted to celebrate that. I know a few of you are like, but again, thank you all so much as you go into your day. Peace, blessings, and lots of foolishness.